that's another way of saying you are also somebody's role model right now, today. You are being watched right now, today, by some little person. Maybe it's your son or daughter, maybe it's a neighbor, maybe it's a sibling, but they are watching everything you do, which is why I say you have to act in a way that recognizes you are role modeling every single day by everything you do. I certainly walked into my role as First Lady assuming that. I owned the fact that I'm a role model, so I knew that what I said mattered. That to some little kid, a touch, a hug, a kind word mattered. So we're all in that position because, you know, no one is that great or that untouchable that they cannot be modeling to someone else. But I wouldn't be here without my parents.
And you were definitely the hugger-in-chief.
Oh my gosh, yes, indeed.
All right, take a deep breath, because now
All right.
we're going to switch gears a little bit.
Alrighty.
Set.
Here we go.
What we thought it would be fun to do is just put up a couple of pictures and let you react to them, to tell us some things about those pictures we didn't know. Everybody wants secrets. Oh, thank you.
Oh, you want some secrets, huh?
That would be nice. You know,
Oh, at least it's like that. It'd be nice.
It's like my new career.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, all right, so let's get picture number one going.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is the 50th anniversary of the march on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And yeah, this was special for so many different reasons. I mean, the woman in the wheelchair, Amelia Boynton Robinson, was one of the oldest marchers at the time. She died at the age of 104, I think, in 2015. And that's her right there holding the president's hand. We were there with people who marched across that bridge, and to realize that so many, when you talk to them, we had only a few moments with them, but there were many of them, you know, you forget how young they were. You know, when they stared down, you know, police clubs on horseback with batons. Some of them were in their 20s, some were younger. Some of them were the age of my children. And they talked about how they knew, several of them knew that they were walking into danger. And I just sort of thought, could I have been that brave at that age to know that I was walking into certain harm for something that I believed in? And that was very powerful. It was also powerful to be there that day with my mother and my daughters. So for us, it was a family affair. We didn't often get to do things as a family, believe it or not. But what that photo also reminds me of is that that march was just 50 years ago. I mean, just think about it. Just 50 years in my lifetime, there was segregation. There was deep racism. There was head bashing. There was a lot going on in this country. And 50 years later, and that history is recent. My mother was alive during that time. There were people living who were walking who were alive during that time. And look who's there, but the first black president of the United States in 50 years. So what I say to folks when they feel discouraged is that we've made a lot of progress in this country in a lifetime. And no, we're not there. Not completely, and we take steps back, and sometimes we feel discouraged, but this is also who we are. You know, this is also what we've done in this country. So I want young people in particular to know, don't forget that history. Because when you start feeling scared and thinking that things are bad, you think change happens incrementally, okay? And good change, sometimes you take a couple of steps back. And it makes you afraid, but you keep marching through it. You keep marching through it. So that was a special day for us. Yeah.
Just one follow-up. We also see John Lewis, who's a very special friend of ours, so brave and courageous too. But you know, people of color and rights. You know, they were marching for a seat at the table, and we talked about diversity in the Valley. We still have a lot of work to do with people of color in our own country. This is an international crowd.
This is.
Blacks, Latinx people.
This is how all crowds should look. This is what we should be going for, that same kind of diversity everywhere we go.
All right, let's try another picture.
Oh, those are my little ones. Okay, the funny thing about this is that this was I took the girls and my mom, we did a big trip that included China. We were obviously on the Great Wall. And I sort of thought, well, this is what the Great Wall looks like. It just shows what kind of cocoon I live in, because we're in China, there's no smog, and there's no one on the Great Wall. And I thought, well, isn't this how it always is? And my staff was like, no. I was like, no? It's like the Great Wall is usually packed. But that's just an indication of how we travel. We've done some amazing things, had some amazing experiences, and in complete isolation from the rest of the planet. But that was a good trip, and it was good to watch my girls serve as little mini ambassadors. You know, they were so poised, and were always poised and elegant and gracious and patient, because these trips can be pretty exhausting. They're not designed to be vacations. You are really humping it, and coming in and out of time zones, and you know, you just sort of every now and then get a moment to kind of take it in, and that was that moment with us, just the three of us. Now, what you don't see on the side of us are like 200 security and staff. And they were pushing each other and arguing. It was a mess, because our security and the Chinese security, it was a little combative. But there was all this, if you just think right around here, there's a lot of fighting and yelling and pushing. But we got to get a little time alone right there.
And I should ask, how are the girls?
They're very good. They're very good. I got one going to college and one on her last final. Oh goodness. Gotta check it. She should be done.